Prosecution is to present its closing case today in the trial of the French cement manufacturer Lafarge and 8 former executives suspected of paying jihadist groups in Syria until 2014, including the Islamic State Group. Those payments in order to keep Lafarge's cement plant there running despite the civil war raging around it. The defendants on trial for financing terrorist organisations, in some cases for violating international financial sanctions. Well, we're going to cross to that trial, talk to our senior reporter James André, who joins us from there. James, outline then what the prosecution is set to outline today.
Well, actually, it's just started, and we've already heard part of what the prosecution case is. Basically, the prosecutor started out by outlining what Daesh, or the Islamic State Group's doctrine was, explaining that indeed they were calling for people basically to assassinate unbelievers across the world by any means possible, and then moving on to say that indeed, well, according to the 6 weeks of trial that have taken place, well, she says, you know, for her there is no question as to why or how indeed Lafarge has indeed, in her view, financed terrorist organizations to the tune of €5 million between years 2013 and 2014. So what we're expecting to see here is potentially pretty harsh sentences being requested by prosecutions in this case. And indeed, you know, this accusation of financing terrorism carries sentences up to 10 years in jail and €225,000 fines. So, of course, this is what the 8, former top executives of the company here risk. But also there is the company itself, and that could range up to tens of millions of euros in penalties for indeed both financing terrorism but also breaking sanctions in this case.
James, as you say, we're at the closing stage here. So what does the defence say about all of this?
Basically, the defence has been making a case over the past few weeks saying that they were not there to just sell cement. They said that they, of course, had, in their view, a responsibility to keep this plant open. But what they've also been arguing very strongly is the fact that, in their view, the French state encouraged them to stay. There were two, main arguments. One was that basically the French Foreign Affairs Ministry, by the voice of the ambassador the former French ambassador to Syria, had, in a sense, encouraged them to carry on, saying that, the conflict would end quite rapidly. This is something that indeed this ambassador has been first saying he never met them, then eventually he did say that he had met them, but denies having encouraged them to stay, and very strongly denies having encouraged them to actually pay money to this jihadist organization. Same thing when it comes to the French intelligence services. There again, the head of the security of the plant had links with French intelligence. He was feeding them information about the French jihadists were operating in the region, and also information about the military situation, but he denies having known that indeed Lafarge was paying these jihadist organizations, and also he says that as soon as he knew it, he informed the intelligence services in France, intelligence services that didn't really reply, but in any case made it quite clear that in their view they were interested in the information, of course, but they did not give a green light when it came to paying these organizations. So indeed, for now, the defense position seems pretty weak, and the prosecution seems quite bent on asking for maximum sentences here. We'll have to see how the day goes.